Namibia, Africa. Filled with history, mystery, and secrets. It spans over 825,000 square kilometers, mainly made up of the Kalahari Desert and the oldest desert on earth, the Namib. It's the driest country in sub-Saharan Africa, with only a population of 3.1 million people. Namibia is one of the most sparsely populated countries in the world. Namibia, home to diamonds and the sand people, animals and plants that have learned how to adapt and survive in this harsh yet beautiful landscape. It's a dream for landscape photographers, and hence my travel into the remote parts of this beautiful country to capture the soul of the Namib Desert and share my experiences and images with you. Good morning from the Namib Desert in Namibia. For those who don't know me, my name is Dion and I'm just so passionate about photography. It's all about chasing that perfect light, capturing a moment in time to cherish and share forever. And in today's video we're going to be focusing on the beautiful landscapes of the Namib, and I want to try and capture the beauty of this place. Very harsh desert, mostly desert, but beautiful landscapes. If you really want to appreciate the landscape of Namib, is to go on a hot air balloon flight across the Namib Desert. Absolutely spectacular scenery, which I'm going to be sharing with you now. And as always, I'll be sharing a Light Room Classic tutorial towards the end of the video. Hopefully this will add value to your photographic journey, inspire you, and hopefully pick up one or two tips along the way. Thanks for signing in again, and sit back, relax, and hope you enjoy this video with me. Alright, this is one of the raw, unedited images taken from my recent hot air balloon flight over the Namib Desert in Sossusvlei, Namibia. The camera gear I used was a Canon R5 Mark II with a wide-angle 18mm to 35mm lens. My f-stop was at 18 to try and have the best depth of field. I had a shutter speed of 1/250th of a second and an ISO at 3200 due to the low morning light conditions in the winter. But it's quite manageable with noise reduction software in Adobe Light Room Classic. So those were the gears and the camera settings. So let's just look at the overall plan, what we want to achieve from this image. I'd like to crop this image to give it a sense of a long horizontal image, and something like that, maybe a bit higher. The focal point being the hot air balloon. We have a faint road leading the eye to the hot air balloon. We had a beautiful morning sun rays following this ridge, highlighting this ridge, leading the eye as well up to the hot air balloon. So that is the general idea. We're going to denoise it, we're going to enhance it, we can enhance the colors, the vibrancy, and apply noise reduction and just give it a good crop. So that is the general idea. We're going to import this image now into Adobe Light Room Classic to get the tutorial underway. Right, you import the image into Adobe Light Room Classic. You start off by going to File, Import Photos and Videos, select your file, and then select the Develop section over here. And the first thing we would like to do is we want to crop it, as explained earlier. We want to give it that nice landscape look. Take a bit of the foreground out. As such, have a bit of a balance between the amount of sky and the foreground to about that, and then hit edit. The next thing I generally like to do is bring up the vibrance to around 30, as well as the saturation to about 3. I'm going to lift the shadows a bit for now and increase the clarity a bit as well. Then we're going to denoise the image by going down to the detail section over here, and AI will denoise the image. Right, denoising has been done. It's done a pretty good job. You've got a little window here to see a part of the image after the denoising has been applied. That is before and after. Right, we're going to go back to the global adjustments here. At this stage, we're not bringing any mask. We may not need to. So I'm just going to slightly bring up the temperature to warm things up a bit. To about there. I'm going to give it a slight tint to the right. We're going to go down to the color mixer. Calibration right down the bottom, and we're just going to start with the blue primaries and making adjustments. That one will go to the right, this one will go a bit more to the left, the hues, bring out those rich, nice light reds and oranges, going up to the green primaries at the saturation, definitely to the right, and then the hues definitely to the right as well. On the red primaries, definitely want to go to the right, and the hues more to the reddish on the left. Really bring out those red dunes, the red sand dunes of Namibia. And then the overall shadows, you could also just slightly give it a tint to the right. Pretty happy with that. We're moving back now to the color mixer tab. We're starting with the hues. And I really like to go to the left with the reds. The oranges, we don't want to make it too red, possibly a little bit. Leave it at 0. The yellows, let's see what it does. Just a little bit to the left if we look at just above the horizon. And the greens, not much of an impact, but I'll leave it a bit to the yellow side. The aguas, leave it at neutral. The blues, I quite like going a bit more to the blue. It's sort of given that nicer blue tint at the top of the image. The purples, a little bit to the left, I'd say, and magenta, not making much of an impact. I'll leave it around neutral. Right, let's look at the contrast. I'd like to get a bit more detail in the foreground here. So we're going to add in a little bit of contrast. We don't want to go overboard, but it really does give those nice, beautiful tones in the foreground in the sand, which is really nice. I like that. The next thing I want to do is just really bring emphasis and focus on the subject, the main subject being the hot air balloon. So we are going to bring in a mask, and we're going to select an object, and we're just going to paint this in here with a brush. And AI is going to detect the actual object. Let's zoom in a bit, and what we want to do here is really bring up the saturation of the balloon, possibly just bring a bit of the highlights in as well, and bring in a bit of clarity to the hot air balloon. And then let's just look if we could, no, we don't want to do that. I'll just bring down the highlights actually a bit, lift the shadows, play around with the shadows and the highlights here. We don't want to blow out any colors. I'd say about that, a bit of exposure, a bit of highlights, and lift those shadows. And we've increased the vibrance as well, and we've increased the clarity. The next thing is I'd like to enhance a bit of the sky. It's a bit flat for me, so we're going to create a new mask, and we're going to select sky, and AI's done it for us, done a pretty good job. And what I like to do is add in a little bit of saturation, possibly drop the temperature a little bit to the left, just some minor changes, and bring in a little bit of contrast as well, drop a little bit of the highlights. Just those small touches, but they do make a difference. The next thing I'd like to do is generally target these beautiful highlighted parts of the sand dunes and this ridge over here. So we're going to select a mask, but we are going to select by color range, and we're going to take a picker. The picker comes out here, and we select this beautiful color over here, pick that, and AI has now highlighted the areas. So AI has now highlighted the areas that we in red, which we are targeting to adjust, but we can refine that with the slider here. It's selected quite a bit of the foreground. I'd just like to refine it a little bit down to about there. Now that we've got those specific targeted areas highlighted in red in this mask, we're going to edit these. And what I'd like to do here is bring in a little bit more of a temperature, a little bit of saturation as well, a little bit of contrast, and possibly a little bit of highlights. Let's just see. Actually, we're going to bring those highlights a little bit down to about there. Just going back to our masks, I'd like to go back to mask number 1, being the hot air balloon. I really want to possibly just lift those temperatures up as well a bit on the balloon. And bring up a bit of the sharpness as well, like so. And that is basically it, folks, for this tutorial, free tutorial. Hope you found it useful. If you did enjoy this video, please give me a thumbs up, and so see you soon in the next one.